like a pseudo duelist is definitely there. You can definitely see firepower, especially from Sky is Blue. We saw that happen last season. I wouldn't be surprised if Sky is Blue is gonna just put numbers on the board again.
Oh yeah, and I would not be surprised if they're gonna get a lot of volume on Sky is Blue. I mean, this guy is just so mechanically insane, and you can say the same things about the rest of Mongols here. I had like my doubts on how they would fit in, you know, one of them, rather the metas of Southeast Asia, but they were just executing their plan so well that it seemed to throw the rest of the region off. Granted, their run did stop at the hands of Full Sense, but once again, Twilight avoids a stun. That net, I told you, man, that net is so good.
Walked up, shoots 3 in the face, and every single one of the Mongols could not deal with that defense. Personally, for me, I love this aggressive defense. I love that early throw of that net, and then, you know, you can see the util coming through, and Twilight just says, you know what, let's challenge this angle. Let's walk up and just fight them as they're trying to remove that net.
That's such a well-crafted play there to even hammer it more so with the teleport play. Grab net plus the trap is such a nightmare to deal with, and Mongols caught off guard. They're losing that pistol. Does look like they are gonna go for a bunch of upgrades here. Not sure if this is gonna fare well in the future endeavors of that economy, but Fancy, they are looking mighty confident. They still have 2 ghosts left in their back pocket, and it is gonna be up to Twilight, Chops, and Yusei to use their weapons to maybe, just maybe, cut down the would-be attackers.
They're just waiting now. If they just really position themselves so spread out so thin here, Mongols. I think the whole idea behind it is to just kind of dwindle on the numbers, hopefully get some heads. But no one's moving quite yet. It's been quiet for quite some time. Oh, here we go.
Love that.
First contact. Oh
Ooh.
man, M in fear. I remembered him being sharp last season. He's still there. The barrier really going down here from Yes I Can. He's not peeking at all. Doesn't want to challenge this way too early. Only a ghost in hand. As Nexi somehow manages to find him in the end. He challenges. That's what I really loved about watching the Mongols. They're so unorthodox. You can't really tell when exactly they're gonna swing out. Because Yusei, quick to find one. He's gonna take a satchel onto the site. But Mongols, they're just taking their time, being very happy to whittling down the numbers one by one. The spray is good, but here comes the flash. Yusei good to just tap, tap, tap. One moves out the way, and he is sharp as ever. Sky is Blue, unfortunately, will be the final man standing, but not for long before the 4K is taken.
That's an extra 4 added to the tally of Yusei, and he's very, very close to that showstopper that could potentially be used as a tool for early momentum. But it did feel like there was a chance that the Mongols were sectioning this defense properly, but as soon as they got towards Garden, it kind of fell apart. There were no trades prevalent, maybe not a lot of utility to work with either. This time around, they have Vandals and it's a decent amount of utility backing their efforts here. I would not be surprised if 6 is going to have a bit of a difficult time on the attack, since a lot of Vice's kit is quite proactive and none of it is really strong on the anti-flank, but they can make that flash work. It's Fancy, they are still trying to hold on to whatever they can. These ones are going the way of Mongols.
Big high-low here. Sky gonna force one out into the open 2, in fact. Cruz, great use of util. They didn't even need those trips at all.
Ew, that is such a good shot to land.
It really is.
Just so much confidence too, Tash. I mean, he just stood there.
Really
Tops could be in trouble here. Oh.
Definitely. CXIX quickly clears up Cruz in the corner, puts the arc rose out here. Yes, I can, trying to tap him through the wall. The net does find him in the end. He decides to take a little detour, excuse me, into U-Haul. Potentially catch one off guard as Chops left all. Slows him all the way in backside, trying to take away all that attention from Mongols to the back of the area. Walking up, CXIX here on bench. He swings, but he's just a little bit sharper there. Nice double swing, but he didn't really need his teammates to really help out. And here, Mongols with 3 rifles to go to the next round.
I mean, did I ever say 6 might have a hard time on attack? It just didn't look like it, you know what I mean? At the same time, big 3K to maybe get that bonus out of the way for Fancy. At the same time, Fancy did enough damage to rattle that economy, as Sky's Blue's just holding on to the Sheriff here. Now, Mongols, their approach has just been isolating a lot of these defenders. So, on paper, what Fancy should do is to shell up a little bit more, wait for Mongols to kind of walk up and play off their utility. Now, you see this breach trying to play towards U-Haul here.
Not ready
Might
yet.
just be waiting for a sound spot here. No flashes available for Mongols as Fancy playing patient again. Didn't work out too well when they had two players like this towards Teleporter and Octagon. But it does look like that smoke is going to be of extra help for Fancy side.
Dangerous angle here played. Crashing onto the side here, MN Fear. Knows potentially a bit more of where Fancy could be. Still holding. I love how Mongol's just so patient with this, hoping for that first peak, excuse me. Hoping for that first contact and just completely just exploding onto the site. Sound cues all around. Sky's Blue walked all the way up into U-Haul there, finds Cruz, but Cruz reaction time phenomenal. Rushing on to the other end. Mongols, they're not questioning themselves. You can see the hesitance.
I'm entirely sure why there wasn't a trade available for that either, but Mongols, they do have another plan cooking here. Does look like Fancy are not biting on that solo lurk. There is some contact, but they don't know that the garden is being flooded very, very quickly. We do have Chops here looking to cut.
Oh, he got 1, 2 played together with Cruz, but Khan's answers. Still, it is still 1 to 2 and 3. 1 on 3 now.
10 seconds left.
Menfear will be stunned. A hard place to be as Cruz gets a 4. And that's back-to-back 4Ks here for Fancy. They are looking so oppressive on this defensive side.
Looks like the new pickups for Fancy are doing a lot of the fighting here and are winning out most of them.
10 seconds left.
And it does look like Mongols are a little confused on how they can approach this defense without losing too many resources on that initial hit. The Arc Rose was denied at the start of the round, and Fancy just did not have an issue trying to fight it out on those angles that, you know, Mongols are so accustomed to dominating. Now, it does look like we're going to go for the same setup here with Yes I Can jiggle peeking towards B Found. And Mongols, another eco that probably will give them a little bit of time to think about things, Tosh. I have to consider what Fancy's thinking here, though, because they did narrowly avoid a loss against an eco in, I believe it was round 2, right?
We're so unlucky today, Raf.
It's okay.
That's we're on 3 out of 3 right now. I really think it's you, though, Raf. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Somebody's gonna take accountability, Raf, and it's not gonna be me.
Me neither. When that happens, nothing happens, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's all be mature adults here, Tosh, and apologize to the audience.
Anyways, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're facing a bit of tech pause today. Day 1 is usually the days where these things happen, but, you know, luckily for us, these tech pauses don't last too long. But coming into now, right, I think the Mongols, I was gonna say that for them, these sheriffs can be quite devastating. I mean, we've seen it happen last stage. But one thing about Fancy United this time that I liked is that they're a little bit more confident the way they take these fights, the way that they want to swing out. But Nexi, eyes on the prize, he knows exactly where Yes I Can is about to be. He's playing a little bit more far out. Sky's Blue gonna slowly find his way onto the site, and there we go. Twilight headshot to the face, and Sky's Blue as well. Trades on trades on trades all around the map. An upgrade to one of the players of the Mongols as Yes I Can says pop and swing, baby. As he moves up, Sky's Blue is waiting for him, throws off his crosshair, and runs straight back. 2 showers for his little ult orb. Now he does have not dead yet. Decides to break it, in fact, and run all the way to the other side.
NDY really helpful in these situations where you're just down 1. Or rather, not really down 1, but to have that extra life advantage in a 2v2. It's great.
Making their way onto the
30
site
seconds
already.
left.
Fancy overthought it. They had already went to B site, so site should be available to them for completely free.
Planted.
Smoke set up already. And they're gonna be playing both on the other end. One toward elbow, one toward cubby. I'm not sure if... I'm a bit nervous for MN here actually, especially in that corner. You have the Roomba. They know where Sky's Blue is. Showstopper come online. Everyone just running for their life. And somehow MN Fear survives. Gets a shot to the face. Oh my goodness. What a round for Mongols. Looks like another round forward here. Fancy forced to go. Barely in rifles, but so anyways, I think we might be going onto another tech pause once again. Okay, it's just a bit unlucky for us, but no, actually no, we're going for a timeout. In fact, for Fancy United, coach looks very heated. Honestly, do not blame them. That was the round for them to win. But again, reminding everyone here that what I said about the Mongols, put a sheriff in their hands. One of the things that makes Mongols so terrifying is the fact that you put any gun in their hands, they are sharp as heck. Fancy United has firepower, they look confident, but Mongols has another thing in their arsenal. It's called patience. They play a little bit far back, hope that the Fancy United actually swing out and peek, and they just decide to pop heads. A very, very costly round for the Mongols, and Mongols, sorry, for Fancy United, excuse me, and the Mongols is making it look so good on rounds that don't look winnable. And definitely, for sure, I think in this situation, big changes are about to happen here. I'm curious what that timeout could entail for Fancy United, if you ask me, because, you know, right now for them, they don't necessarily have the best economy. Two of them had already bought Guardians up, and it's full rifle round for the Mongols with 3 ultimates in the bag. Flash and a gravity well. Fancy United choosing to start this round extremely aggressive. And yes, I can all alone in Octagon will be flashed. Got the util there. 119 quickly just finding that cam, getting rid of it. And trying to find that util. That net is perfect. Yusei finding that net, immediately throws out that pain shells. 119 could not save himself. And the neural theft comes online. Sky is Blue's position already will be compromised. Forced to move back. His teammates coming up close to him as he just holding off this angle. Fancy United making sure that they don't over-rotate here. 3 on B. And regardless, Mongols, they're hitting jackpot. It is the weaker side. Flashes all around. Twilight inside of smokes, waiting for the right time to just strike. Position himself onto hell here. Sky is Blue has not been affected at all by that gun. Finds 1-2 even in the corner. Twilight does find Sky is Blue, but Sky is Blue will just say, I'm not dead yet. Shoot him in the face. No, he doesn't, as Yusei shuts him down. And despite all that noise, it's still going to be a 3v3 now, 2v3. Yes, I can. Looking to swing. Isolates the fight. MN Fear finds 1-2. Disgusting display of isolation. And saves the round. 3-3 of the Mongols. Slow start, but they're heating up.
I'm out of stock. One enemy remaining.
Really exciting stuff coming in for MN Fear. This is exactly what we expected to see from the Mongols. I mean, me and Raf, we had this conversation in the pre-show about what we expected from this team. I think their debut last season was a more interesting one to me because they came in from Premier, and I think the expectation from teams from Premier are definitely a lot more different than what we expect from tier 2 teams that have been playing a little bit more on bigger stages. But they have really been defying expectations over and over again. Chops here, looking to fight for that first contact. Looking to push forward here. Chops very aware this one close. Chops gonna move down to the left and swing. Catches Sky is Blue off guard, but MN Fear himself gonna find a pick of his own. Now the Seekers are online. They know exactly where the members of Fancy United are. And the Mongols saying, okay, we see all this cacophony, the noise over on Hookah. Let's just make more noise coming in from main. MN Fear holding down the line. Yes, I can. Somehow finding that jewel. Finding the head of MN Fear here. As Twilight looking to fight them. Coming in from the side of Triple. Sprays out forward. And good to find Nexi. Tries to isolate one more side before Con says that's enough.
And Con really finding a lot of value in that round here 2v2 still though.
enemy
Again,
remaining.
does have Annihilation. Be a bit of a problem, but doesn't look like they need to use it here. Not at all.
No, yes I can. A bit unlucky there. The player's cons is just rendered so low right now.
enemy
But so is
remaining.
yes I can. Plays that corner to perfection. Here comes the showstopper. He misses by some time. 9 HP, but somehow cons makes it work. What a round, I have to say, for the Mongols. On rounds that seem unwinnable, they pull off the impossible.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Satchel out.
Waiting once again. 3 rounds in a row already for the Mongols. You can tell they're looking confident. They're looking so warmed up right now. The Arc Rose would have given them the info that they needed. Flash to come out there. And Cruz as well hears that early sound of the bullets. Waiting for the right time to play with his teammates here. But Cruz decides, okay, let's not use that util too early. Let's just wait for them to come to us. I'm in fear. Trying to spot to see if you can see the top of someone's head there. Husei surviving there. It's a very slow peek. But next he look to just clear off the left side here toward yes I can, but unfortunately I think the molly did not meet its mark.
I don't think so either. At the moment, might be a fight that could happen here. Sky's Blue's trying to scale up, but where's the support? Fancy could get pushed back just a little bit here. Yes, I could find a freebie with the not dead yet, or rather the Annihilation. They're really not letting it go. They're gonna let this plant happen. Now, brawl could ensue. The weapons, I don't know about this one, but Cruz does find another in cons. Still a pretty decent 4v5. They could pick up the Vandal
It's
and
an
make
upgrade.
things a little bit easier. Oh, but Sky is
What
Blue
a shot!
just was not ready. Oh dear me.
Now it's a barbecue. Nexi is already waiting for Twilight. Hughes,
Thrifty.
great headshot, and it's a thrifty round. What on earth is happening? But they can at least get that one final kill, not allowing to keep any of the guns to the next run.
With all the pickups that they found, I'm pretty sure they're still happy with the outcome. I mean, yes, the defuse did come through here. 119 does have Steel Garden, so this could nullify whatever upgrades that Fancy managed to scrounge for themselves. Cosmic Divide could potentially find a little bit of cover. Not that it's gonna happen, but it's been even Steven for both these teams. Mongols still going for that really sectioned approach here. They try to divvy up the map. They are not overly aggressing as they don't need to. They've been punished many times, and as of late, those sheriffs are still giving them nightmares.
That's a great way of putting it. Khan's still holding,
yeah.
and Emma and Fear somehow wins that fight. But doesn't really matter. And Fancy United got 2 to their name, and somehow Khan's is just hiding in this corner. Has not been seen quite yet at all. Emma and Fear holding down the line. Not able to get that pick off onto Husei. The other members of Fancy already rotating onto B side itself, leaving only Twilight just to hold down the A fort.
That is maybe a tall order for one person to really kind of carry. But there are traps, quite a few of them, to help him and his cause, and there could be a potential fight here.
Here's the
But
flash.
no, Hughes
Oh my
gets saved
God.
by Yes I Can. What a shot here. And Mongols, they've been deterred from trying to walk in, and Hughes lands an impressive shot for himself. Mongols,
Perfectly
all up
executed.
to 119.
119 plays
Wait,
alone in hookah. So aware of the positioning of the rest of Fancy United. The Thorns will buy some time here. Twilight tried to push through. But now, with Spike in hand, oh, tries to fake that rotation. But Fancy United, they're not buying it. Oh, actually does. Twilight
Last player
forward,
standing.
but the angle, oh man, yes I can.
10
He was
seconds
right on the
left.
money. But unfortunately for him, reaction time, 119, just so much more
Spike
further.
planted.
Gets the plant here, has to find the right angles, the right timing, and it's 119! Who's the hero of the night?
I don't know how many times he's pulled that off now in such dire situations where you kind of need the superstar to drag your team through the mud. It's been 119 to do that. It was, I believe it was like round 3 where he had that massive 3K. And now with the Guardian, really flexing his capabilities. And I have to say, if you're fancy, I don't think this is something that should demoralize you. The recovery has been great. They've already won an eco round for themselves. But they have to avoid Mongols getting these solo fights because so far it's...
Oh, this is so scrappy. Look at that. Look how early and how aggressive both these teams are going, fighting for this A short control. Flashes, util all around.
That it is. A lot of things being thrown out here. 119 still has Still Garden. I don't think we've seen him use it just yet. Now, yet again, we fall into the lull of this slight waiting game. Cons could find a few players to his name and maybe a few frags to his tally touch, but Chops will obviously find the better of him just there. But look far the Mongols have actually had to wrap around to just even get the spike here. I think there's a noise trap just on the spike itself. And even though they do have the round lead, some of these rounds just look a little more awkward than they normally do.
Yes, I can on the backside here. Sharp and he had some insane shots earlier. The same could be said about Chops. Nexi stood no chance. And then here, trying to play this little bit of an off angle, but unfortunately
30
for him,
seconds left.
will be smoked off. They've been pinging him already. Menfear just waiting for the smokes to dissipate. 119 in one corner. Yes, I can. Just tucked back.
Last player standing.
Rushed up forward, and then Fear to get headshotted. One shot to the head, but the cruise from one end. That is what we call a beautiful play. Fancy United will not allow Mongols to run away within more than 1 point ahead of them.
Again, it's just so hard to stop Mongols when they have such lethality available on their roster. I mean, we've seen it time and time again where if you just really tempt fate and maybe find an unassisted duel against a Mongols player, normally it doesn't fare too well. I have to say though, SkyZblue's not having the hottest of games right now, but still finding value for his team. Fancy, I think they're really working that deadlock to maximum efficiency. We saw a lot of impressive grab nets and a lot of stalls from the barrier mesh itself. And Mongols seem like they're still trying to figure out some of these specific situations that they're kind of losing to.
Man, you know, we spoke earlier, right, about about the expectations of what we expected on Bind. We were, I mean, almost so sure that the Mongols would have this map a little bit more in their control. But this new roster for Fancy United is a very interesting one. I feel like looking at Fancy United right now, the firepower, the confidence, the way they're playing, it looks just really good. I love the shuffle. I think it looks really great on them. Definitely a lot more different than what we saw last season. But at the same time, oh, those stars.
The caterpillar
Don't tell me you're gonna get a caterpillar. If you get the caterpillar, I would completely lose it.
I mean, this is not the first time we've seen them do this. Like, in this map alone, I think this is about maybe the third or second. Still, I think this is ridiculous. They do remove the stars, but leave one. Look how much they're trying to flush out Yes I Can. They know he's been a menace with that utility kit.
That's his home.
It literally is his home. He's been defending that piece of land for how long? Twilight has to be careful. These sheriffs are dangerous, but he will not get victimized by this little revolver here.
All the locations of the Mongols revealed already. All cards on the table, and Fancy is okay with just taking advantage of that information. SkyZblue knocked down already. Still 3 more Mongols to worry about. As Cruz playing a little bit more passive, pushing himself, tucking himself a little bit more deep into U-Haul. But little does he know that Twilight on the back of sight there will the one waiting for him here. Chip damage all around, but the same could be said about Twilight barely surviving that skirmish. 3 HP left. Once Sheriff in hand here. Nexi good to find Twilight. Just enough to wallbang him all the way to hell.
30 seconds left.
A ping onto Cons. Yes I Can playing way back. Relying so much just intuition. Cons, what is that pop and swing? That is disgusting. U-turns back into U-Haul. And through the smokes, Cons manages to cross over. Gonna fake that plant. Just really lure the members of Fancy United forward. They finally do get it in the end, but at the cost of Nexi's life. And Fancy United from 3 different angles of A. Just completely crunch the members of the Mongols.
You see how they just refuse to fight the eco head-on now? I think they've learned their lesson here. They just really don't want a repeat of that 3-round streak that the Mongols did get.
Last round before the
And yeah, you're correct. You know, I feel like we were just expecting Mongols to be that much more powerful on this map, but at the same time, this just has not been the case. If anything, Fancy have just had the better reads, and they've been using their utility to just, if not chip away at the Mongols, just burn a lot of time. Because inherently Mongols are already like a decently slow team. You don't necessarily see them rush on things a lot. So as long as Fancy can survive the blitz that typically happens at what, 45 or 30 seconds on the clock, then they should be good to go.
Here we go. Fancy. And love how they're very proactive. Oh, swaps the gun. They don't even know there's an op there. I think it's just a mere rifle. Flash to come through, but M and Fear walk straight to the trap and into the crosshair of that. And here comes Annihilation. Catches one, is gonna be Nexi. They break it, he's free. But that doesn't matter. There's layers and layers of defense here from Yes I Can. It's a nightmare to go against a more passive and proactive Deadlock. He positions himself on top of Tube, plays a little bit back. His teammate's still inside of Hookah. The smoke dissipates. 2 of them, in fact, waiting for the Mongols to just swing out. 119 cannot swing out. He cannot move. He's stuck. But the other 2 possibly could just flush out Yes I Can from his angle.
And they're still not sure if they have full control over Hookah here. So they're still a little bit of wary for the walk up, and maybe they have the right idea here. Nexi has found success in these spots, but Chops is still looking down the barrel with the up.
Swaps weapons. Here comes the showstopper. Cannot do anything as Cons gets 2. That is explosive. Mongols showing us that they have another page in their playbook. Gets the plant right in the nick of time. Still 2 more members of Fancy United to worry about. Twala and Who's just now, they managed to do the dynamic duo play. They have a good crossfire going on. The arc flash gets retrieved once again. 119. He spots out Who's in one corner, isolates them from each other. That wall is perfect. And then Twilight here, waiting for the right time, spraying through those smokes. He pushes out, but 2 people inside of the smokes await him.
Oh my goodness, and Mongols, despite the dire start of some of these rounds, with sheer firepower and patience, they do manage to overtake, or at least
immediate timeout call by Fancy United, and then suddenly it was just back and forth again. I'm not sure what exactly they talked about in that timeout, but it seems like it was a very big change in pace, change in mindset. Fancy United, I think they're playing this lineup game. They're just throwing the util around here, but they realize that Sky's Blue is inside of the smoke. Dangerous game. You say the fall, but he's being met by 4 other members of Fancy United as just stampeding forward. Chops to eat that nade to the face. And unfortunate for them, that lineup with that molly is going to deny them plant, at least for the time being. Buy some time for the Mongols to go for that rotate.
I really love the Mongol setup. I mean, again, you don't necessarily see teams run that specific action too much. I'm not even sure how quickly he got onto that box here. The Twilight will try to equalize here, and Fear will do his best to do the same. It's now up to 119 yet again to clutch. Yes, I Can very healthy, but Crew's not the same. Like I said, there are roadblocks in the way of the Mongols, and Fancy United are fully responsible for it. There are so many angles to check, but it's a big double up. This could be a fatal mistake, but no!
No, unlucky for him. He wasn't able to land those shots, but he did render Yes I Can and Cruise quite low in that process.
Looked a little dicey there. I like the nade play there by, I believe it was Cons, to try and assist Sky is Blue. Maybe there was a little bit of impatience here. I think there was a reaction just because the immediate trade angle was smoked off. Fancy doing a good job of keeping their composure, despite getting hit by the molly and whatnot. Or rather, getting almost trapped by the molly. And now Fancy, they are in a decent weapon lead. Once again, what they have to remember is that Mongols is not a team that you can disrespect on eco rounds. And they have reminded people time and time again. The question is,
and look at this.
gonna do it. Oh my goodness.
There we go. We talked about it, but Chops gets 2 before being shut down by Sky is Blue. The nades come through. Nexi is really low right now. Gonna be smoked off here. And Fancy United thinking 3 times before trying to fight them through the smokes once again. But they do get onto the site, B site fairly quickly. Spike in their possession. They should be able to plant this. Mongols already with some upgrades in hand. They have a Guardian in one, Sheriffs in the other. Twilight. Are they going to overextend? Here's the question. Are they going to check their left? It's going to be so fatal if they don't. Yusei getting a little bit too aggressive. Going to be able to get away with that pickoff. Now we're down to a 1v2. Twilight's just so low. 29 HP left. We need to be careful in this corner. But Sky is Blue managing to seal the round. And the Mongols once again show us what they can do in these ecos.
Oh my goodness, what a battle towards the fountain there. And right now it is just overflowing with the blood of the members from Fancy United. Again, you just cannot be clumsy around those pistols, those upgraded pistols. Mongols yet again doing such a great job of destabilizing this economy on the side of fCY. Not sure what they have in mind, but I would not be surprised if they get the pause in right now just to maintain a little bit of composure and maybe just some time to think things through. None of the players are moving, so maybe we have yet another pause in the making, Tosh?
Maybe. Or is it tech pause? I can't tell. Raf, I can't with you, Raf. Your curse is very strong.
I see. I don't know.
Reinforce that.
I see. I understand it now.
But, you know, coming back to what you said about, you know, those sheriff rounds, right? I think this is why it's so terrifying going up against Mongols. They are definitely a team that says, okay, we're on sheriff rounds. We don't have a lot to lose. Let's go a little bit more aggressive. Let's be creative. You did mention that in the pre-show just now about how the Mongols like to innovate, like to try something new. And we saw a taste of that in the previous round about how they wanted to approach these rounds and just not only overwhelm Fancy, but take away their guns and use it against them.
Once they get the upgrades in their hands, it just becomes that much more of a problem. And Fancy, again, they had the formula unlocked. You know, just don't overpeak. Maybe they give away a little bit of space. But at the same time, they have the tools to retake it. They have Cruise's Flash. They have a lot of the Astra kit to play around with. Yes, I can obviously use that barrier mesh to hard deny some areas of the map. And plus, Annihilation is great to have if you need that extra body removed as quickly as possible. Yusei has also been doing a great job of timing his nades just to delay either the trade or just outright, you know, push back the Mongols. But with the timer running down, maybe both these teams have gathered their thoughts and taken stock of what they could potentially do in this round. It does look like the Vice is going to reposition. Might just have to assist the Clove on A here. As 119, not really having the greatest of volume just yet, Tosh, but his impact has been felt.
When 119 came into the scene, I remember how much buzz there was around his name. This was the player to look out for, the player that is sharpest, the player that could be making waves. Here he is, still doing so. So far back after the debut, Hans inside of the area, staying safe but forced out into the open, still able to get one before going down, but the same could be said for Yes I Can and Cruz. Trades on trades here, Yes I Can rendered so slow and so low, excuse me, as that flash will set him up for success. From inside of the smoke, Sky's Blue will be caught off guard. Yes I Can. This site is his oyster. And now we're down to a 1v1. 119, very healthy, but he's actually reading the situation so well, just hovering in between A and B, knowing that potential re-hit or a rotate might be the name of the game.
Every rose has its thorns, and 119 has both of them in his inventory. Yes, I can. Not so lucky, especially with this health pool, but him planting should be a small window of opportunity on the side of 119. The biggest thing that he has to worry about is if that Annihilation lands.
Not even close.
Oh no!
He's not close. He's not close to his thorns.
You can hear it now, though.
Oh no! Yeah, he does now. Rushing up forward, he's keeping very quiet. There is that trap near the bomb. They already put that arc rose up, but yes, I can. Didn't get tagged by it, but I think he knows. Was she not?
No way, right?
Here's the corner. Oh, I think he may have. He goes for the swing, but yes, I can! There's a reason why this guy is the longest standing member in Fancy United.
The odds were in the favor of yes, I can, but I didn't expect him to win that way. I thought it should have been a noise play into the annihilation, but then if it comes down to a gunfight, then yes, I can is more than capable of holding his own here. Fancy, yet again, taking the lead away from the Mongols. Once again, there has to be a reminder here. The sheriffs have been just stealing. Fancy have to be aware of it at this point.
This time around, Fancy United a little bit more wary about these smokes, putting a lot of pressure through it. QC walking up. There is Nexus, playing very, very close here. Will be stunned, will be moved to the side. That gravity well gave a little bit more value for him. Perfect execution. MN Fear here will be caught out. A tap to the head. No, it's Chops. Just really swung a bit too far, catching him off guard. Nova Pulse onto each corner of the site, smoked off already, and the rest of Mongols left questioning how exactly they're gonna go for these retakes. Inside the smokes, they have the wall, they have the traps.
What else do they have to throw here? I mean, yes, I can still has Annihilation if he really wants to invest it, but at this juncture, there's no real reason to. Noise Trap is still there, and we even have a massive flank. And Mongols look like they're going to be down and out for this round at least. Yet another big lead on the side of Fancy. Feels like none of these teams can really secure too many rounds together before a response will be made.
Alt economy coming through here. You can see it's one off the showstopper for Husik. Cruise one off that Rolling Thunder. You have the Annihilation online. You have the Cosmic Divide as well. Fancy United. And on top of that, you have the Neural Theft. One off that Neural Theft as well. Fancy United looks prepped for this round. And, you know, it makes me a bit nervous as well because, yeah, Mongols needs this timeout. They need to know what's the strat, what they're going to do here. They have to figure out how they're going to navigate through all of these upcoming ults coming up forward as well. But for Fancy United, they could potentially, this could be a double, you know, edged sword as well because they could talk about how they wanted to execute and how many ults they want to put in this round as well.
Just a numbers game at this point. Fancy, they are in such a comfortable spot, and it does look like Mongols are still trying to formulate how they can, I guess, address the situation. I mean, surely they are kitted to deal with it, but like you mentioned earlier too, Vice is not necessarily the most defensive Sentinel. Yes, she does have tools to allow her to, you know, take safer fights like the wall and the arc rose. Thorns is a decent trap, but the range, as we've seen, can be somewhat limited. Ooh, Fancy. Everybody's been contributing in spades. They still have Annihilation and Cosmic Divide, so this could literally come from anywhere if they choose to invest it. Orbital Strike.
Oh, that's perfect. You had the flash, you had cons with that op. Plays a bit back now, repositions themselves, even smoke set up already just to deny them. Sam and Fear has not been moved quite yet. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now even more so, there's gonna be a lot more doubt on Fancy to try and scale up. They still don't have any meaningful information from elsewhere on the map.
Oh,
if
man.
anything, that should have been the freebie that MN Fear was looking for. 3v4 now, Tash, and the operator is still undiscovered.
Con's waiting.
Recovering
a little bit more far back. Taking that star back here. Chops gonna fall back, meet up with his teammates, but on A side, you do have the Vice, you do have the Clove waiting already. One-way smoke, he crosses, and that wall's gonna come up. Oh, he notices it, right? In the nick of time. Yep, his position's compromised. Immediately flashed. He waits. Does not dare to swing it out, but does take at least one util out the door here, and that's the cam taken out. They know, and he's close by. But here comes Annihilation. Doesn't get anyone. Being very patient, very, very wary. The orbital strike will be used. Sky is blue, gonna find Chops right there. But Twilight has not moved from bench, not able to take away this fight, leaving Yes I Can all alone. And perhaps the right call here is just go for the save.
Maybe the operator is what they needed to really have a hard door stop at the knocking players of Fancy. And now with that in the playing field, Tash, everything else seems to be enabled. They don't have to face check everything. They know Fancy's gonna be operating on a deficit if they get like an early pick. The smokes came down, the thorns came down, and even the wall eventually got value. Fancy though, they still have a lot of money to work with, so I doubt that they're gonna have any second thoughts of just buying up and maybe trying a completely different approach to this site. Naturally, the operator is going to be looming in their mind. And with this timeout, I believe is gonna be their last one for the map.
I mean, how many ults they used previously?
I think they used like Orbital. There's no Steel Garden. Or
Yeah,
was it on the
really-
side of Fancy?
Yeah, they didn't. I mean, they didn't really use too many ults, right? So I think they still have some at their disposal. So I think for Fancy United, being able to use these ults and secure these rounds should be what they needed. Not only is it a change of mindset, it's a change of tempo as well. You know, whatever that they did before, this was just no longer working. This change in pace from Mongols really changed up how they wanted to play. You saw, yes, I can forced off his usual setup. He has to play on the other side. Yeah, he's able to make these big impacts going all around the map, but it's a situation where his teammates are just not able to follow up with him. So it just cost them the round sometimes, despite how much damage he can do to Mongols.
That's true. And Annihilation, I feel like, was a big one too. I mean, that should have been a free pick. Yusei can replicate that type of like pick with the Showstopper. Naturally, it's just a little bit more risky. Cosmic Divide and everything else is still on the board for Fancy. It does look like Chops is going to cash out his ultimate here. Fancy change of pace. They go for a quick hit here, knowing that the op could be there.
Man,
And
that's
now
perfect.
119 didn't even have a chance.
Yeah, but that flash sets him up for success. Yusei putting in the damage and the pain. U-Haul completely in their control. Con stuck in this corner as Chops gonna find the numbers of his teammates
What?
one by one.
Player
Chops
standing.
crosses, Twilight
Spike planted.
to fight back. And Fancy United gonna convert that timeout to perfection.
Well played. Well played. They did not want the op to maximize that long range capability. And with everything just kind of jumping forward and the rest of the team not being able to win their duels out, Cons was almost helpless in that situation. Him and Fear does have the Seekers available if they want to go for a more retake heavy style, as well as Sky is Blue with the Not Dead Yet. And at the moment, Fancy still have a Rolling Thunder to
Over there.
once again help their efforts here towards attacking any of these sites. And a flash again to check. They've been doing this all day long, but so far it's only really been to confirm if there's somebody trying to scale up B.
Interesting situation here. Oh, they want to go aggressive. But does he catch them off guard with util in hand? Quick trades.
Ooh.
Losing his teammate too early there. And Sky is Blue. He got slowed. He got netted. Useless. Just wait patiently in the smokes and he sprays the heck out of the members of Fancy United. They could not answer back. Yes, I can. Once again, finding himself all alone. Last man standing here. A tall ass to go in this 1v4. Not even close to a spike. Once again, forced to go for the save.
What a great read on the side of Sky is Blue. He was seeing red all over, and Fancy just quickly stifled. Mongols, they will play the spike as well as possible, and now Fancy can have a few seconds to think about what they should do in the next few
30
rounds.
seconds left.
Again, what is the problem here? That they couldn't use bot to clear it out. I think they were investing it in hookah anyway. So now they have to take a guess if Mongols are going to play these types of off angles. The Mongols really trying to fight for their position here on this map. Despite it Fancy being the
10
one to pick
seconds
this
left.
map, there's a few gaps under specifically on attacking.
Yeah. Man. Feels deja vu, right? This has happened like 2 rounds ago, I feel. Like, yes, I can's a bit late on that rotation, not able to hold. Saves here again. It's a really good one here. I think the timing for the Mongols, that aggression, you just weren't expecting anyone to push that hard. Then you expect someone that's got net to be just, you know, immediately gonna pull it off the net. But Mongols, one thing they have is patience.
Exactly. I mean, despite the slow start, they've managed to keep this as competitive as possible. And this time, it's still Fancy holding on to their ultimates. I mean, they shouldn't wait too long. Otherwise, Mongols is going to catch up with their own economy. Steel Garden is not too far. I think Yusei only expects one. He's going to be completely blind.
Oh, it's perfect. Another flash to the face, and he swings, and MN Fury comes up on top with 2. In fact, 3! Mongol says, you know what, let's just throw all our bodies into showers and just catch them off guard. A great read as they find Twilight. And now it's Cruz that's left alone here. And Cruz that wants to go for the save. He has the spike. Maybe he could try and go on to B. Perhaps go for that plant. He has 1 minute to play with here.
Man, I feel like keeping the weapon is much more important at this point in time. They are for sure going to eco after such a big scuffle towards shower. And I gotta say, I don't think we've seen anyone react faster than majority of the Mongols players. I mean, it is so crazy, and they just pass each other. They don't even know, but I think he saw a glimpse of it. And they might just sandwich him here.
Look at this whole long. Oh, it's perfect. No save, no return, nothing.
No money.
No money. Oh, man.
That's crazy to me, man. I mean, look at the patience on MN Fear too. He took quite a bit to just really land the kill shot onto the first blind player. I think he was anticipating like maybe a support from the anti-flash position. But no, he still got both of them. Stingers are on the side of Fancy, so it does look like they're willing to take this up close and personal. In fact, I don't think they have a choice. But we are at the point where the ult economy has now slowly evened itself out. They have to do something with their Rolling Thunder because this is a big playmaking ult. Now they're getting stuck. That is at least one of the pieces of utility that's been holding them back removed from play. This could allow them to maybe pop the the breach ult finally. But it doesn't look like they're interested in doing any of that nonsense.
Chops only jump peeked out. Oh man, this guy's really caught off guard. Oh, and not dead yet. Stuck in the trip and 3. Oh man. This guy's probably had the heart
I know
attack of his
exactly
life.
where you are.
Oh yeah.
Here comes a neural theft as well. And I think Fancy United would be very pleased with themselves getting that upgrade as well onto Cruz there. So for them, they have an idea where to look. Hans playing a little bit more safe, playing all the way to the back of side. Rolling Thunder used already. Hughes on the side, and the rest of the team is slowly making their way down. And Twilight eats quite a bit of damage from that Roomba. Zeman Fear, he makes his presence known onto elbow. Hughes just blind shotting through the smokes. Here comes the Cosmic Divide as well. Hughes, are you actually gonna look to push there?
No.
As MN Fear will find himself in a 2-away hold. Fancy United with only stingers in hand, taking the guns one by one, forcing him out of Mongol's hands. 119 suspects someone playing close. He tried to knife forward. He was just out. Good to find Hughes, but
there's no way, right?
Twilight from the corner not able to come up forward. The star is close. He tries to go half. Will be pushed off that spike. Goes for the tap one more time, and Chops is here. Wins the Thrifty, and my goodness, 119 nearly made the unthinkable happen. But you expect players like Chops to be a little bit more proactive to keep the team alive.
I thought for sure he was gonna steal Garden and push. I thought that would have been the call for the play here, but he had different ideas. Such a well-played timing there by Chops. Did not want to fall for the initial tap. And now Fancy, the ones to kind of pull a fast one on the Mongols here. The operator yet again has showed itself. Don't know where they would want to post this up, but Fancy, they've been perhaps playing a little too quickly for the taste of the Mongols. Now, you say lining up a nade for Shadow just so nobody's there to take them by surprise. The Molly and the Thorns are there, but it's not going to stop the jumping, you say.
No, man. Fancy United, they're fighting with brute force right now, walking all the way to back of sight. As soon as someone pushes out, they're in trouble. 119 managing to at least find Chops here, but he's stuck, cannot leave Showers. Quickly gonna break it. Pun's pushing up here. The Thorns doesn't do anything here. Husei, good to wait. The wall will not give him enough space to work. He can't goes through showers. He can't go out. He breaks the wall. Finally, 8 bullets in the barrel as Cruz makes a skedaddle onto B site. There are some Mongols looking to follow suit.
Uh-oh, this could be bad for Cruz.
Yep, it does. It is bad. Skies Blue was ready and waiting for him in Twilight. He's so far out, so far away from the spike. Footsteps been known, smoked off already. 2 smokes set up for him. As soon as he drops out, he's possibly going to die here. The wall bangs are good, and 119 says adios, muchachos.
I cannot tell how this match is gonna go, but I'm telling you, like, everybody is just so stubborn. They don't want to let this map go at all. They don't want to go for I guess losing one of their more favorite maps. I mean, you did mention how Fancy has had so many reps, but Mongols have just been that much more innovative in my opinion. Fancy again suffering the consequences of around L. Now they have Vandal in hand. Cruz has to drop his, and it does look like this is gonna be a full save. And more times than not, Mongols have been on top of this situation, just barring the one that they lost because of a few pop-off shots here on the side of Fancy. You see again, trying to find the timing, sees the leg, wins on the jiggle, but does he expect a shotgun? Oh no.
Shotgun as well as a freaking showstopper. Mongols stood no chance at all. Upgrades in hand to 2 of their players. But Cons and his teammates, they're ready and waiting for them. You saw the molly just to deny that plant. But Fancy has other things in mind. They've done the damage, they've made the noise and said, okay, I think we've done enough. I think it's time to rotate to A. And who's waiting there for them? 119.
No more Steel Garden to somewhat equalize their odds here. I don't think ultimately it would matter because they're still fighting the Sheriffs. Not a lot of teleport control being exercised by Fancy here, so perhaps a mad dash by the Mongols could be the right call. 119 still has his his Rose and his Thorns.
Slowly making their way down short here. I don't know if 119
30
is
seconds left.
where. Oh, there we go. The shear got triggered, so he knows already, but no clue how many. Playing a little bit more open here. Could be devastating for him. Sounds finds no one on U-Haul. He wants to swing out here. Finds one. Good for the isolate.
Wow.
Oh, the damage is true. 13 seconds to go. He's bought the time. He got stopped there by that net. Get the plant in the end. Mongols still 2-4 to worry about. Better guns, but the aim from Fancy United has been devastating to deal with. Same thing as Mongols here. XC coming through. They hear the drop already. Yes, I can. Holding his angle. I have a crossfire inside of U-Haul. He sees the trip. He breaks it. Moves back. U-Haul is gonna push out with that nade, but that run and gun from Yusei is too much. Denying the A's. Nexi is here. Good for 2. Still, 2 more to worry about. They're so far out, so far away. Pushing up here in close. Twilight is here. They go for the tap. And Twilight is just good at wasting time, and that's a thrifty for Fancy United, and that's match point for them.
Wow. Again, initial picks, not necessarily the strongest suit of Mongols to defend against. And gotta give credit where credit is due. Yusei was just so confident of the shorty that it didn't even look like they were expecting him to be that close. Nexi almost had a moment here, but again, time was just a little too little for him to work. Now, this could potentially be the last buy round of regulation, as Mongols are looking to push it towards overtime, and Fancy is looking to close this map out. Preemptive flash that has been happening since the start of this bind set. Doesn't look like Fancy are deterred by it, but once again, something that might be looming on their mind, Stash, is that player that likes to tuck near teleporter. So far, they haven't done it, but it's enough to slow down the approach of Fancy.
Looking to explode from so many different angles, so many different places. They immediately just pop out the Annihilation. You immediately saw just now the paint shells as well. Trades on trades of that Yutsu from both teams here. Some pressure from inside of the smokes. And unfortunately for Yusei, he shows his hand. Pop flash forward. They know that's one close. But somehow Cruz through that flash gets a headshot straight onto MN Fear. Sky is blue at least to utilize and equalize the numbers. But the same could be said for top. But Sky is blue, not dead yet. We have 119. They're fighting. Yes, I can. Finally. But 119, he puts the damage, he puts the hurt, and the pain. And Mongol manages to push it to an overtime. These 2 teams stubborn as ever, do not want to let this map go.
There might be pride on the line here for Mongols, knowing that they were almost unstoppable on this map.
Switching sides.
Fancy.
Overtime.
Them picking this could have been the gamble that they would have loved to win. But Mongols are just refusing to bow out, Tosh. First time in overtime, my goodness. And it does look like teams are going to be approaching it. I'd say decently similar. The Caterpillar is still there, but we haven't really seen like a funny Caterpillar set play just yet, you know?
Not yet. I mean, that was innovative enough. That was interesting enough if you asked me. And I'm glad we got to see it, especially, you know, on day one of relegation promos. That's exciting stuff.
Let's make some chaos.
It really is. But, you know, one thing that I appreciate is that the comps that we run, or the teams have been running, are a lot more varied. And I really appreciate that because more and more teams are understanding like the intricacies of the agents and how you can use them despite it not being a quote-unquote ideal map for them. And Mongols, they go again for this really slow start. Fancy, they've never repeated that noise trap from the first round, but it does look like it's still going to be reinforced by a lot. And I mean a lot of shootables. Tripwire is still very much alive, but that forced them to invest the smoke. Yeah.
Needed a TP by Yes I Can. I think that was 119's plan along. Walk up, shoot the util, and just rush out of there. Because last time he tried to do that, he got caught. I think they're very aware on how exactly they want to play this attacking side.
Yeah, I think at this point in time too, Fancy, you just have to avoid the overthinking, right? Because maybe if there is a call like, oh, we have to rotate now because they baited out the TP play and they're not there. But realistically speaking, they can just let these alarms pop and, you know, let it do its thing.
Oh
now
no! Caught off guard, MN Fear. Pop flash up forward. Here comes the stim as well, just to give it a little bit more rush forward.
You say!
He tried to catch them off guard,
Planted.
but the spray from Cruz is good. So Sky's Blue knocked down already a 1-for-1. But still, the full splat is looking dangerous. Shorty in hand. MN Fear there to save the day. And Yes I Can left alone. Separated from his teammates. Cannot push forward. Smoked out as well. 3 eyes onto him. How are you going to push this? It's not going to be easy. It's going to be very, very hard. And somehow he's put so much damage into all the players of the Mongols. And Mongols forced back here. They're gonna push out here. Wants to push out together. Gets the pick off onto Cons, but no more than that. MN Fear. This is a great round for him. And a good start for this overtime for Mongols.
Switching sides.
Oh,
Match
that was where they really struggled with Tosh. I mean, maybe they have the data they need to just make the proper adjustments now. And you know, the fear that I was worried about really came true. Fancy just somewhat overplayed their hand instead of like just, hey, we have traps. We're gonna make them do their thing on both ends, really. But again, for Yes I Can to just kind of run back that far back to where he was, just gave enough time for Fancy to, or rather Mongols to barrel through and take these awkward fights, because I don't think that Cypher was ready for that fight either. I think they were just ready to call for map control and try to go for the flanks. Here we are. Second round of overtime. Fancy United now on the back foot.
Yeah. It's a very interesting one, I think, this round. I mean, it really doesn't matter whether it's attack or defense. Both teams are just so evenly matched. I mean, we could talk a lot about thrifties here. Both teams excel at just using these lesser guns, whether it be sheriffs, whether it be classics. And then we want to talk about those, you know, quick rounds. Mongols, they're a little bit more slow in the start of attack, but then once they explode, it's almost, you know, overwhelming to deal with, right? And Fancy, they're a team that likes to go really, really quick. So it's just very similar styles of play, very similar mindsets as well. But up in hand here for Cons this time. A glass cannon, if you may. He wants to take this up close and personal. Here's the footsteps, I think, to the left. Oh, unfortunately for him, the shot won't hit. And he will pay dearly for his life. As the rest of the team here, the util dump is good. The mollies come out as well, but it's a little bit too late for Nexi. At very least he gets one pick off.
No way, dude.
And they want to go and pick off one by one. Shorty in hand. Sky's Blue was there to help him out. And somehow the Mongols made a bad start into a good. And that is map 1 falling into the laps of the Mongols.
Close this series out. They want to do this convincingly. I do like the double ini pick here. I think there was just a difficulty in gathering, you know, reliable information in that previous map, and it did kind of slow them down a little bit. But once Mongols gets going with those flashes, it could be a problem for fCY.
19 going to that sentinel role this time as Yusei immediately taken out of the sight. That's I would say the Mongols classic here. Not planting default either, so they are safe away from those shock darts. Now for fCY, they're just waiting for these smokes to dissipate, taking their time, being very patient. But Mongols, they've placed 4 players onto main, 1 player only holding onto site. The Sky is Blue that's going to set this team up for success here. He's going to go and see if anyone's on heaven. Here's the tap, team pushes out forward. Unfortunately, eats the bullets from Twilight. That flash means nothing. His teammates didn't follow up here. Khan's happy to find Nia. They push out. Sphinx good for 1, and the firepower is a bit too much to deal with 119 coming in straight from above.
Oh boy, like I said, that blitz from the side of the Mongols. It's just really, really annoying to deal with, considering fCY just had such a different flavor of attack from the previous map. You know, Mongols was trying to dice out the map as carefully as possible, but this time they play with such a brisk speed that fCY maybe you're not ready for it. But look at this touch. This is looking like it's going to shape up to be an exciting round. These Vandals could easily fall into the hands of fCY if there is a well-placed flash, but let's just see how it unfolds.
No way, fCY United changing up the pace, going aggressive, and they just spray through the smokes here. MF here, good for 1. Unfortunately for 119, he falls, but the damage is done. Oh man, one thing about the Mongols, I mean, we talked about this in the previous map, do not disrespect the Mongols. They were ready for that oncoming onslaught.
I also think it's because Twilight blinded half his team. Did you see that flash rock? That is so unlucky.
Man. Probably fighting for his life in the chat now.
Hey, it was an eco. You know, I like the head-on approach, but look at this. Such a large map that, once again, perceived pressure could be probably one of the biggest killers on the defensive side. There are 2 lurks in the form of Khans and Sky's Blue. But majority of this, or not Sky's Blue rather, it's going to be... Oh my god,
they had pushed so far out.
Yeah, and like I said, it was 119 and Khan's trying to push up, but one of them has already faded into non-existence. I think Sky's Blue actually saw ahead just before that smoke dissipated. They'll have to double check on this. They do have the numbers game here, if they choose to do so. Wow, the lurking outlaw finds one.
Yeah, I think just now Sky's Blue probably had a heart attack. I saw his face just express pure shock there. Cruz hasn't moved at all from this area on Catwalk. Gonna have to be careful. Ready for those recon, the flash as well. Cruz in a very, very scary place to be in. TP's away, Twilight on the other end there. But the Mongols were so ready for him. Sky is Blue. Jeez. Look at these layers of sprays coming up forward. And Nia, he's thinking 3 times about breaking the vents.
I feel like you can't contest Mongols in choke fights. And you can't contest them on super long angles either unless you have a
30
scope.
seconds left.
It's just straight up so hard to fight this team.
Planted.
And I mean, gosh, I wish it wasn't such a reductionist like analysis, but it's just hard to fight the Mongols. How many aim duels have we seen go in the way of the black and gold squad? fCY just not having the best of time here. Maybe they're getting a little too impatient too, Tosh. I mean, some of these actions are just so impulsive just by the body language of their players and how they're moving around the map, and this time around it's them to drop the bonus round.
Yeah, heard the footsteps already here, trying to find that final 2 players because they do have guns in hand. They have Vandals. I don't want to let them bring it forward, but unfortunate for them, I don't think they're going to be able to here. The Mongols going to be safely and easily converting this round. And, you know, I believe in this expression. I think we were talking about stats earlier, right? I mean, on paper, fCY United looked a lot better in terms of how they played this map. But I also would like to believe that there's a reason why this team picked this map.
Yes. They picked this map because they want to win.
Okay,
Raph! You know. But yeah, like I said, like you mentioned, statistically, fCY looked just so much better on this map. But I think sometimes, like, even if teams do look good at a statistical standpoint, sometimes if you like eye test it, they look like they struggle on the map. But it does look like they're getting a little bit of advice from their coach on how they should be approaching here. And it does look like Nia is locking in.
I mean, it is Nia's first game of the day as well. I mean, his team is
Yeah.
a little bit more warmer, I feel.
That's true.
From Bind. But, you know, it's interesting when you talk about these kind of, like, styles, right, of players. Because, you know, you have some teams that have, like, maybe, you know, 8 players, 7 players. And, you know, I've seen moments, especially in GC, where you have players that are utilized for certain maps as well. And I believe Nia is one of them. But what are your thoughts on that?
I think like there are merits to subbing specific players out onto maps, but if you're a pro team, you typically want to have just the same core, so you build chemistry regardless of the map and have a feel of how each other play, because sometimes one dynamic can just butterfly effect to the rest of the team. And I'm not saying like it's completely bad, but there's also like the point that you just made. Sometimes when you're getting subbed in after a long map and you're just sitting there, it's gonna take so long to warm up to that level of competition again.
Oh,
Oh.
shit. That off angle is the death of him. And 119 as well was so ready. They already figured out where Twilight was going to be.
Spike
Next
planted.
level awareness for this team. And for Fancy, fortunately for them, they weren't able to get that value they wanted from that timeout. At least not yet. Might be speaking too soon here. Still 3 on 5. A flash forward, and Cons takes full advantage of that. As yes, I can. Will be blocked away here. Isolated. We are there. Flashed off as well, and Cons finally falls. But Cons has done his job. He was the gatekeeper. He kept most of them out. Yes, I can. All alone. The sprays are good. 119, unfortunately for him, will whiff. As he recons out, and yes, I can. Going to be able to just say, okay, I got that 2 pickoffs. I should be happy with this. We go once again.
That's right. The gates remain untouched and closed.
Those flashes, my god.
Yeah, exactly. Like, again, if you just have like so many support tools in your arsenal, and without them, you're still like a team of nasty aimers, it just becomes such a problem for Fancy. At the same time, I think Fancy's being a little stubborn. The last 4 rounds, they've been caught out opening all these like open angles where you are prone to get dumped on. You are prone to get like utility in your face all the time. I'm not saying that they should always be passive too, because then that opens up a full contact play. But it's a puzzle that they have to figure out. At the same time, off topic, I really like the Vandal and Cons is using. I think it's the new one. I forgot what it's called, but it is so sleek. It is so cool. Temptation is going. Oh, I hate you, 119. Oh,
It's a very nice skin, but let's see how he goes here against Hyuse. Oh, fair bit of damage. The reposition is good, and that's what I call a caster curse. Raf, what the heck?
there's no way Cons loses a duel with this skin. I'm telling you.
And then Fear walking up here, spots out Nia on Heaven, decides, okay, I don't want to double dip dip. I have no clue how many is on the A side. And in fact, it pulls Twilight away from the mid side area all the way to the back of site. So it alleviates a bit of pressure. But the whole of Mongols is already here onto A side. Dash other side, the back side is clear. Twilight falls. And that fragment will at least keep, you know, the one on Heaven at bay. Cons, they will find Cruz clearly done there. They know the last one is inside of smoke somewhere. Haven't moved quite yet here. Playing in the corners, Nia. Dangerous game to play. You hear the ropes come out. Hyuse alone here. They was ready for him as well. And where are you gonna go here? Yes, I can. Sharp as ever with that Sheriff. The Nova Pulse will catch him off guard as Mongols 5 in a row already. That timeout did not do them a service, unfortunately.
I am so distracted by this, kids. I forgot that it also had a katana, and then I forgot there was already an Araxis Sheriff. So, you know, there's a lot going on in my mind just to fight off the demons. But so far, it's been the same case for Fancy. I feel like this defense is just so distracted by, again, all those possible angles that they're not necessarily trying to front this like as well as they could. I mean, sure, the flashes are another deterrent, but I don't know. Normally, we don't see Fancy stumble this way on typically a really good side for them.
Yeah. Was this what, the second time already for fCY?
And in the first 5 rounds, that is not fun.
Yeah, and I don't blame them at all because they were not able to get control of any part of the map. This push-pull method by Mongols is interesting. They show control on one side of the map, they make havoc, make noise, and then suddenly, you know, maybe if say that fCY does overwhelm them, they can just pivot back and just come in through another way. Mid area, I would say, has been one of the most controlling factors for the Mongols. They go a little bit more aggressive, sending one up before their teammates come up forward. It can be either earlier or later, and I think for fCY right now, they're just spread out too thin on this defense side.
Yeah, I was about to say that if they wanted a default, maybe they could have gone for like a super condensed default, because look at this, right? Obviously, there are merits to having your Jett this far forward. She can dash out if she needs to. At the same time, if the dash does fail and if she gets donked, there's just no way to recover that side. And with
Command there, Hunter's Fury as well. Khan's already on that side. Oh my god, M and Fear finding Yes I Can this early as well. That is so oppressive. Cruz forced out of his position as 119 somehow manages to find Yusei here. Loses defense here, tries to take up this fight. But every single member of fCY United is losing their aim duels against these players.
There's been a lack of teleport play on the side of Yoru. I'm not saying you have to do it all the time, but this is the whole point of picking this agent. You want to like be oppressive on map control. You want to be slippery. Yeah. You want to be everywhere just so Mongols are forced to maybe commit to a mistake, maybe overinvest in trying to hunt you down and find you. But this just has not been the case. fCY have been losing the front to back type of duels, and quite frankly, this is not a good look. It was I guess that bind pick was the 50-50 that they took most of the chances on and hoped that they could make this 1-1. I don't want to count them out just yet because this is a championship caliber team too. This has been one of the more dominant orgs in their local region, but sometimes stylistically it just doesn't add up for some of these teams, at least against foreign competition.
Twilight already used one of his TPs already, spots out another player onto window. Khan's just walking up mid like he owns the entire site here, and Twilight, despite him teleporting away to safety, he's not safe. Cruz might have a good timing here. Into mid area, putting that smokes. Not sure if Mongols actually noticed that. Khan's walking up onto the site here, nice high area. Just really hold down the fort. Yusei doing an around the world in 80 days, hoping to catch them in that crunch. Silence all around, only one on the site. The usual style play from Mongols. Khans, fortunately for him, will be forced off that area. But still, the spike is not planted. It's planted in a situation where they can just spam that area. Now TP's onto the top side here. Nexi waiting, but Yusei gonna catch him off guard. Yusei just gonna buy a lot of time, a lot of fragments on the site as well. Yusei managed to get 2 as he just goes down here. Sprays all around. 119 saving the day. He's so low right now. And despite the valiant efforts of Yusei, they're not able to do anything about that, and everyone will fall.
Relo, Raggy, I'm falling. I don't think the audience is old enough to know Scooby-Doo anymore, but hey, Magic number 7. Lucky number 7. Wait, no, that's 8. I'm getting confused too. But
enemy remaining.
man,
Confusing me.
I'm confusing everybody, and it just seems like
One enemy remaining.
despite them taking their side of the map back, what can fCY really do here? I mean, the operator is gonna come on to Yusei. Maybe this is the missing piece because he has been really far forward, but these rifle duels just has not been panning out for him. No more Blade Storm, so no more backup weapon.
What
happened to Cruz?
Oh my goodness. Finally, this is the proactive style play that I wanted to see for quite some time now for fCY United. Be a little bit more aggressive, take up this space up mid, and challenge them head on. It's working so well right now, a 2-for-1 trade. But the rest of Mongols is not done yet. They have neural theft, positions will be compromised. Smoke's gonna be set down here as Nia gonna play a little bit more back. The Nova, the Gravity Well will buy a bit more time. Unfortunately for him, that util, the Molly will be a bit late. Backside cleared already. Jumping up forward, finds nothing. Trip set up. And you're trying to see if they're trying to do like this really quick sort of like swing forward, but I think changes his mind. But it's going to be 119 that does that. A perfect flash to the face. And somehow Twilight managed to stay alive with the ultimate. 119 just pushes up, catches everyone off guard here. TP's onto the side. Suddenly, who's attack, who's defense? I can't tell at this point. They're just waiting for the right moment here. Husey, he's pushing up alone. Oh, this could be bad here. Waiting for one. A crossfire is set up already. Twilight taps the head. But here comes the Nova Pulse. Sorry, the Gravity Well just to push him off that spike. Taps one more time. 119. The pop and swing, his signature.
I'm also really surprised that, again, this might be like really obvious to us for now because we see everything. We have all the info in the world, right? But I would expect Fancy to have this play in their bag if they run the Yoru, and it's to just play the weak side first so you can just TP back if there's a rotate. We haven't seen that, like, at all. Which, again, maybe just Fancy are getting overwhelmed by the amount of offensive options Mongols have been throwing at them, and it doesn't look like we are going to cycle back to the first action, the cage into the flash. Cam checks nothing. Husey does hear the sound of that cam opening, but is it enough to relay to his team that this is going to be a heavy hit? There's still a lot of hesitation on the side of Fancy, and you can really see it bog him down.
He tried to play that angle that Buzz usually plays, right? Last year we saw it so many times in this angle, but they did their due diligence here. Every single member of Fancy United cannot hold on. Nia at least could get one to his name, but Cons is ready. That crouch just threw his crosshair off. And it's looking so heavily one-sided right now. And honestly, I do not have an idea on how things could change for Fancy. They tried a more aggressive approach at mid earlier. They managed to trade a 2-for-1. But as soon as Mongols hit that site, everyone just falls. And Fancy United has no idea how to play for this retake.
I know I picked Mongols to win this series, but come on, gang. Fancy is just looking like they're getting outmaneuvered. I really appreciate that play like 2 rounds ago, Tash, on the side of Mongols, where despite losing a few members on the initial hit, they still decided to go for that A hit simply because they know the timing of this map is not gonna allow 5 defenders to rotate as quickly as possible, especially when there's this much utility in the way. They now go for a pipes plan. It's Con trying to lead the charge with the Blade Storm. Doesn't find one, and now they're getting cut up.
Yes, I can. Fancy United, finally! They get a point on the round. This Cosmic Divide actually kind of was used against them.
Man. Well, again, it is a great sign for Fancy to finally retaliate and get their bearings steady.
This could be a start for them as well if you think about it. This could be the shift in mindset that they need to just kind of like, kind of like do brick by brick, just come back if they can. But 8-round deficit is a big amount of rounds to catch up on.
Attack the bear.
Boo.
I want to attack the bear, but yeah, like this could potentially be the first step to a comeback for Fancy. And they definitely have the tools to do it. Maybe it took them a little bit too long.
Massive.
To get warm, but this operator's getting a few picks.
Time to jump.
Just somewhat stabilize the game for Fancy.
Holding on here.
Ooh.
Beautiful timing on that smoke too. As the smoke dissipates, start seeing Twilight get a little bit more confident here, and the Mongols, they are the ones in the back foot. They are the ones scratching their heads this round.
Maybe this is what they needed. They really just needed to win out some of these early picks so they can slow down the pace to something a bit more manageable. There is a TP setup here on Yoru, but it's not towards B. You will have to reset it. It is gonna just float towards his vicinity just so a quick peek could potentially happen. But 119 and the rest of the crew are now crawling towards B. This is the fundamental problem of defending this map. You just cannot make 5 defenders too quick. Hello, Cruz!
Down B.
It's just perfect timing. Cruz, he was supposed to have lost that. I was so sure he wouldn't be able to win that due to the slow pullout. But he somehow manages to do so. Smokes down. Spike in hand. Double smoke set up already here. 2 eyes onto him. Good to find one.
Oh boy.
Mongols. dwindling the numbers one by one before Cruz decides that's enough. And fCY are chaining already rounds by rounds,
round
and that
in the
up
half.
is, as you say, Raph, the change maker the team needed.
They just need these early picks to
enemy
deter
remaining.
fCY from trying to strong arm their way onto these sites. And big kudos here to Cruz for holding down the line. Because as I mentioned, the defensive rotations can come really late on this map. Sometimes it's even more advisable to play passive if you're gonna go for that reactive style, other than like a hard read on the timing and the utility. But 9-2, fCY are still in a precarious spot. The Mongols, they can't be complacent though, because we know how fickle some of these swings can get.
Really? On top of that as well, we have no clue what the second half is going to look like as well. Sometimes, some teams, I think this is historically, we've seen this happen so many times. On one side, they look incredibly, incredibly sloppy, and you're just wondering, okay, is this game over? And then suddenly the second half starts, and we see comebacks. G2 Paper X, have you forgotten? So, yeah. So, anyways, this is something that, as you said before, they still need to be very wary. And the fact that they were able to chain 2 rounds in a row before the second half starts, plus pull out a timeout for fCY United, that round win was exactly what they needed. You could see the change in pace, the change in mindset, and like it or not, Valorant is such a mindset-heavy game when you're doing the same thing over and over in different kind of ways in every single round. Oh. This early ultimate from the Yoru, and I think it's
I
great
like
that he's
it.
doing that. Yeah, it gives him so much information, gives an idea on how far he needs to go.
Wow,
he
what a
already
dodge.
popped the clone as well, moves out the way, gonna break out of his TP, all the way onto the other side. Hunter's Fury will be used, and the same could be said about Yes I Can. Hits one, Constantine Cruz, but the only thing he got are tags. Emin here moving out of the way, out of for his life right now. Yes I Can all alone here, walks
Whoa.
up, finds 119,
Last
and the
player
rest of
standing.
Mongols were ready for him. It started off so good from fCY United, but what on earth happened? Everything just fell apart right now. Houston good for one, but no more than that. Mongols making it and denying that 9-3 half.
Switching sides.
Oh goodness. It looked so good at first. I love that Twilight was using his ult to scout and using the rest of his tools. It's a great sign. Unless you're on the opposing team. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mongols versus fCY United. And this time around, this seems like a one-sided affair. fCY do the same action here on the side of B, as Mongols are still trying to get their numbers going, get their numbers and their timings proper.
No
As
way.
fCY waits for this time to
Yes, I
tick
Can
down.
alone. Oh man, Cons just swings out here. Cruz all alone. Completely overwhelming every single member of fCY United. And then Fear dwelled solo, but it doesn't matter. He just needs a shot to the head. Yusei tries to fight back, but every single member shooting at him means that they cannot take home this much needed pistol. 11-2. fCY United, you need to make a miracle happen right now.
My goodness. That shot by MN Fear was pure confidence and precision.
1 second,
fCY now, no choice but to force buy. They don't want to play for overtime. However, if this does not pay off, then they've pretty much sealed their fate to yet another force. Again, they want to hit this fast, they want to hit this hard, but they have to be aware that 6 also is equipped with a weapon that can shred them to bits if they don't clear them out properly. We do see a quick forward trip, just so 119 has a little bit of breathing room, but he is gonna get flooded out. Everybody is here. What does Mongols do?
Oh, they just completely overwhelmed 119 there. He tried to hide inside of his cage. Couldn't really work out. They were so aware of where he is because he was paranoid. Now, this is the round that fCY United has to win. If they lose this round, they will have no money for the Mongols match point. Fragment out here already just to clear out that corner. On top of the side here, Sky is blue. Waiting very patiently on the other end. But the Mongols just completely overwhelmed. The guns, the Guardian is just too much to deal with. They go for the tap, they go for the hold.
One enemy
Cruz
remaining.
and the other members will just wait. The sprays are just too good here. Nia gets a 4! And Nia's heroics finally coming online. They get a 3, and they are hoping to snowball off this round.
That is a confidence booster if I've ever seen one. And now Mongols, they're stuck with Sheriffs here to Fancy's full-on set of buys. And for a bit there, it did look really dicey for Fancy, with the Guardian
really
ringing the
did.
shots and whatnot. But the double controller too, buying so much time just to make that post plant so difficult. The problem is, Fancy just don't have any more timeouts here. If Mongols get one more round, they're not gonna have the assistance of their support staff to try and figure out what might be happening. But speed is the name of the game here, Tosh, as they sprint their way towards mid.
Despite the gun disparity, we've seen some insane share shots coming from Mongols. Yes, I can. Waiting by the double swing. Denies more kills than that. Yes, I can. The rifle will definitely be picked up here by the Mongols. It's looking a little bit more dicey, but all eyes are on a B side. Excuse me. Husei making sure to do his due diligence, checking every nook and cranny. But he's not gonna find anyone
Spike
here.
planted.
So 119 decided to play a little bit more safe up on Heaven, tucked out in the corner. Twilight's timing, unfortunately, not quite there, as the other members of the Mongols had crossed him, moving up to Library and trying to reconvene and meet up with 119. Yeah, on the other hand, he's looking the wrong way here. Relo is where he was looked at!
No way.
But Sky is blue. That is insane shot before being taken out here by the other members of the Mongols. Cons gets a shot to himself here. Twilight with the gun in hand. Timing is great, and Fancy United able to take another round. Brick by brick, they're trying to mount this comeback, but it's not going to be an easy feat.
Definitely difficult to say the least, as some of these trades just look so dangerous too for a bit, but I'm glad that they've adjusted on how Mongols play. For sure that the, I guess, potential trauma from the previous map of them getting consistently shredded by the Sheriffs have given them more insight on how to deal with these types of buys. But now it is full-on rifles for both sides, and it does look like Mongols are ready to take this challenge head-on.
Oh man, hiding behind that Aldro. Nia takes full advantage of that situation. They do get suppressed, it's enough. They also get an alt orb. I would say that is a big dub.
That is indeed a big dub.
119. This corner, missing checks, and the strafes are good. Nia to get him. Mongols here feel very disconnected from each other at this point.
No way though, right? No way. He times it perfectly. He could catch one.
It's perfect. Trade it out though.
But this is the thing too. Now Mongols are experiencing the difficulties of Fancy from the previous half. Still, them getting a few tags and kills early on will always help their cause. But Husei is going to help secure this round here. Sky is blue with the Vandal. He can't really count this team out at any point in time. This does look like it might be a repeat of what happened next. The smokes are just so important too, Tash. These double smokes are just delaying Mongols and burning so much time unless Conscious walks through it, right?
Goes inside. Perfect already. TP is away, so excuse me, dashes away. Sky's blue giving support. Gets the tap, rushes up forward here. Here comes the optical strike. Forces out there, off in the open. They want to take this fight! But Cruz is just sharp as heck right now. And Fancy United can start feeling that confidence shine through.
Looks so dicey. Again, Fancy stringing these rounds together, making this situation as
timeout
doable. And it does look like Mongols are going to go on a timeout. I think this is their last one too.
Yeah,
and
this is the last one.
Whoa.
Doesn't it give you deja vu to what we saw in the first round? But for Fancy United, losing so many rounds in a row. But for Fancy United, they lost 2 timeouts very early in the first 5 rounds even, and they weren't able to, to come back from that. Now, my question is, are both these teams just adept on attack? Or what's going on here?
Well, like I said, like fundamentally, it is just so difficult to defend Abyss just because there is no quick response possible unless it really was a super passive hold or a really, like, I guess, center focused defense where do already have a lot of players mid Because, again, it's just so easy to overrun a site here. It's been proven time and time again. If you just kind of bum rush the single player on Abyss, there's just no way for a quick response to happen. It is so rare to have that initial hit to retain any of the defensive players. And I think that theory might just get tested out here. We do have Yusei on the Vandal. So this could be an easier time for him. I doubt that they're going to throw the anti-flash cage, but that they do. This time they change the timing.
Oh, what a shot! Cons barely getting away with his life here. And unfortunately for him, he found the wrong Yoru. Twilight on the backside already, finding 119.
Time to
Tight fully in their control, only losing
Spike
Yusei
planted.
in that whole process. Sky is blue, just waiting for the smoke to dissipate here. Will they actually notice him around here? No one's really paying attention to him. But the positioning of all the other members of the of fCY United coming in, playing together with his teammates here. Pop flash is exactly what he needs. Let's have a little bit more higher. Twilight was ready for that. Flash upwards, and fCY getting another round to their name.
Portal
But
closed.
that timeout could possibly be for this rifle round. You never know.
That's true. I would not be surprised if they were leaning towards a different direction here. But just to further my point from the previous round, it's just so difficult to defend Abyss. Like, if Constant get that first frag, then it would have been infinitely harder. I mean, the only reason why he got killed was because he decided to double dip, right? Instead of just waiting for the rest of his team. Because now that's at least a 4v5. But this is, again, a hindsight thing. He was feeling the hot hand. Now fCY, they changed their pace. They know the op is up. This was actually the bane for fCY for a few rounds. And
Oh, man.
Oh. And if
Twilight.
Mongols,
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
if Mongols get the read that now fCY has to start playing really fast, then it could be a problem because now that 2-round allowance is gone.
Yeah. And Twilight actually, he got a little bit too greedy there, wanted to take more space. He was not expecting someone to just fully be ready to get him over on that end. Hyusei just looking to cross by, but the op is still in play, hasn't moved quite yet, just to see if anyone were to double dip here. Yes, I can. Rushing up here, Sky is blue is close.
Take
Only
flight.
straight bullets all around. Owl drone will be used. A knife just to see if anyone's close. No. The Owl drone will just completely take out the Owl drone, and Nia will catch MN Fear. And he will be punished for holding on there, overstaying his welcome too long.
Found them.
As Nexi looking to play on the spike on the side itself here.
My ult is
What?
Yes, I can was ready for the second wave. Wow, that is
Oh.
disgusting! Yes, I can! He can! Dwindling down the numbers of the Mongols here. Khan's in trouble. Waiting and holding. That op is huge. I have to swap out that gun, actually.
Oh, it looks like... Yeah, they're going for it, Tosh. They're not going for a save. They really want to fight this. They want to get this 12th round on the board for themselves. And look,
Yeah, it's
fCY's
been
not
way
even
too
looking
long.
the right angle.
No, he wasn't.
Uh-oh.
Actually, check it. Missed the question here, Nia.
Last player
Wait!
standing.
And the
Player
immediate
standing.
trade coming forward there. From 119. The cage is up. Neural theft online. Both recon, both positions compromised already. He has to push. He goes to tap. Here comes the shot guards as well. Tap one more time. He wall bangs in time. Not on his side. And unfortunately for him, he's not going to be doing anything at all, as 119 not being able to take the round. 7 already for fCY. The Mongols is stuck here in a limbo.
The veteran pulls through, Tash. The cornerstone of fCY United with a few flashy shots. And of course, that really smart play to not overheat, giving fCY a real shot at this map. And low-key, it feels like this is almost like early Breeze, you know, where there's just gigantic... Or not Breeze, sorry, Lotus, where there's just gigantic swings. In rounds like this, you say... Again, the shares, they're very dangerous.
Oh, Sky is blue, at least 2 here to trade through the smoke. Sky is blue gets 2 with just a sheriff in hand. Damage done already
One
here in the
enemy
corner.
remaining.
119, he's
Oh my
sharp.
goodness.
Down B.
And Cons as well with the blades. Nia left all alone here. Cons tries to put in the damage from above as well. It's a thrifty round for the Mongols that gives them the match point. And Mongols finally
Match
breathe
point.
a sigh of relief after that long pause.
Oh dear. I hope that was not the play to knock the wind out of Fancy's sails. Again, Mongols are just so difficult to deal with, especially with those sheriffs. I'm not even thinking Fancy is taking these rounds lightly. It's just the sheer firepower available to the squad is just ridiculous at times. Now they have a full arsenal. They don't have the Blade Storm, they have the Hunter's Fury. They even have the Null Command if they want to go for a full retake. But a mid-set on the side of Fancy could be the correct way to approach this, so they have both sides available if they get a free pick, depending where this defense is going to lean.
More broken. Decoy sent in. Just see if anyone is close. No shots quite yet. Aldrin on the inside area. Does he check the corner? Oh my god, he does not. They have no clue that Yusei is just waiting there.
Portal
But decide to
closed.
be a little bit more patient here. Nexi hasn't moved quite yet. His teammate is close.
This could be a problem. I mean, they don't know there's a double up action here.
Night night.
Oh my goodness.
Getting crunched that way, devastating. They already knew that he was gonna push through somehow. But Hussein rushes onto the site. Look at him out. Util done, but he doesn't bother Cons. Closes off the site here, dashes out the wave. But Cruz, undeterred, swings out. Hunter's Fear just to deny that plan. Tags
Oh
two.
no!
And Fear, what a goat. Cruz takes a bit of damage here, moves around the corner, and somehow Mongols riding off the high, riding off